Okay, I'm Sean, and the claim that I'll be refuting by Robert Dumas is paying collegiate athletes is a universal beneficial. So the three claims that he had were college athletes would allow them to support themselves. The second claim was college athletes can end conflicts between the TV networks and athletes. And then the third claim was they'll stay longer compensated at school. So going back to the first point about how college students would support themselves, is students would want an increase if they believe their wages are too low. And another thing is that they can go on strikes, and the reason why they could go on strikes is because student athletes are a really small market, so they have a lot of freedom to do what they want, I guess. So they have more say in what to influence their particular salaries. And then some things to factor is how can income be distributed throughout the players. So does a starting player get paid more because they're better performance, and does a bench player get paid less because they're not as great as the star player, or do they all get paid equally amounts of the same wages? And then how can players be financially stable and responsible? Because we're all very young adults, and we like to spend our money on a lot of different things. So if student athletes are getting paid a certain amount of money, will they spend it on unnecessary things? Will they go broke? Stuff like that. And you're only in college still, so we're all very young. And then student athletes also get scholarships that they get, so that's a lot of free money that they get already. And then according to the Institute for College Access and Success, in the state of Pennsylvania, 71% of students leave a public four-year institution in debt, and the average debt is $33,000. And then athletes also don't have to focus on paying tuition, loans, textbook, meal plans, and this is all from here in the college. So athletes are already getting a lot of free things that they get, and then the actual, what I think is like the pay they get is from all the free things that they get from the college. So adding more things to it is just extra stuff for athletes. And to the second point, paying college athletes will end conflict between networks versus athletes. So a quote that Robert had was that college athletes would be drawn into corruption by agent and boosters who are willing to bribe them to play for other schools. So corruption can happen on any level, whether it's a sports playing level field, a political level, business level, corruption will still happen regardless. So yeah. And then despite being $1 billion, despite $1 billion the NCAA gives back to college sports, university athletic programs have an average loss of $11.6 million. And out of the few schools, they make a profit. The most profitable school sports programs net just around $200,000. So a lot of schools, from what we see, looks like they get a lot of money, but it actually just goes to various different things that we don't see, and then in the end, they don't really gain as much. If anything, they'll lose money. And then how do we choose which sport gets paid more? A sport like basketball and football are the most popular sports in college right now, but a sport like lacrosse or track and field aren't as popular, aren't as advertised, and it's a different type of sport that we're like marketing, I guess. And then does the football team and basketball team get paid more than the other teams? So it would be like really imbalanced. There would be a lot of problems, and if anything, paying college athletes would, I believe, cause more problems because people would be fighting over who gets paid more, who gets paid less. So, and in the end, they all practice really hard. So we're all students trying to get a degree. And then players will stay longer compensated while at school. So graduation rates could drop since players will focus more on the money aspect rather than graduating on time. A quote by Val Ackerman and Larry Scott is, "College is a time for learning, and college sports provide young men and women alike a chance to learn, grow, graduate, and achieve great things in life. College graduates make more in earnings than non-graduates, and for college students, or for countless students, it's athletics that give them the chance to get a degree and become successful." So we're all here in college to get a degree, and we're not really here to make money. We're here to invest time in ourselves and to invest in ourselves so we can start to gain more money in the future. So if they wanted to get more money at a college level, they can go practice for like the NBA or like professional leagues so they can get more money rather than try and focus on it at school where they will not study as hard and probably focus more on their game than their studies, which can cause the graduation rates to be a little bit longer. And then, yeah, so those are my reasons on why college athletes shouldn't get paid, and how it could actually damage a person and the school than themselves. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, you start off pretty well identifying what the main and the secondary claims are going to be. You signpost the first point as you get to it. That's pretty clear. Then you've got like a half dozen claims, questions, issues that you bring up. None of them is particularly clearly signposted. I think they're, like I said, frequently they're just questions as opposed to declarative statements, and I think you need to phrase them as declaratives and then tell us what the issue is, what the problem is on those points. There wasn't a lot of evidence on any of those points. The best one that you had evidence on was the one that talked about how a lot of students leave school with a huge amount of debt. My inference from what you were describing there was that you were suggesting that college athletes that they don't have that kind of debt. And I'm not sure that that came across as clearly as you planned it. So that's one of those things that it needs to be, as an example of something that could be a little bit clearer. On the issue of conflict, the best information that you had suggested that the schools don't really have a huge amount of money, resources, that they barely clear in some cases, and in a lot of cases lose substantial amounts of money. The citation on that, I think, needs to be emphasized a little bit more, and you also want to give us a bit more of context. So in essence, they're already spending millions of dollars on these programs that they don't get enough money to compensate for in return, and the reason that they're doing that is the stuff that you're talking about on the third point, which is the goal of the student athlete in the first place. The idea that students are athletes also at the same time that they're going to school. There's a philosophy that you're presenting here that I think is a good one. It needs to be put front and center a little bit more so that that is the position that you're taking instead of it feeling a little bit like you're simply kind of swatting at flies as they come up. Like I said, I thought there were 2 or 3 places where there was some good information, but lots of places where there were just assertions and questions, and I think that that's a little bit problematic. You also have a tendency to be a little uncertain of your own claims. As a transition phrase, so yeah, is not really effective at building confidence that you know what you're talking about. So you want to watch out for those crutch phrases that seem to kind of weaken your argument a bit. All right, thank you.